they couldn't put Cyndi Lauper in the Goonies game. That didn't stop the Player One podcast from doing it.
Why would we ever be stopped doing that? Great song, you see.
That's a great song. You're right.
Yeah, good enough.
Used in many a video game.
Okay, that was funny.
Did you like that?
I did.
Glad.
Yeah.
Genuinely enjoyed that one. It's good enough.
Yep.
Good enough for me.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So anyway, what's up?
Let's do a clap.
Okay.
Okay.
I started recording, so we may as well do it. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. We did it.
That was great.
We did it.
I liked it.
Uh-huh. All right, ready?
Yeah, man.
All right, then, fine.
I'm ready.
Hello and welcome to episode 550 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, May 23rd, 2017. I'm your host, Chris Johnston. With me, as always, from California, Mr. Phil Theobald. Hello.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Feeling fine and cherry wine.
Yeah. How many of our listeners get that?
I'm surprised you get that.
I'll cut you. All right. And also joining us from the great state of California, Mr. Ethan Einhorn.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Very happy myself because I have upgraded my action satchel.
Oh,
Yes.
Ooh.
And
Oh.
in purchasing,
we're going to have to compare our action satchels because we have the
there
same
you
one.
go. Yes.
Now, when you say upgraded your action satchel, you mean you got a vasectomy?
No. I'm talking about
No.
the bag that I carry my Switch in. You see, the
Oh.
great guys at SF Bags.
I keep
They
my Joy-Cons
have-
in here.
Oh, yeah, of course. They have what is
So
called...
when
the
you say
City
your
Sweater.
Joy-Cons in your action satchel,
You can keep trying to make it sound dirty, but it's just not going to happen because what I got here trumps that. Yes, this is a beautiful, beautiful case. Cost $100 with the extra strap, but
No, I didn't
it
pay
is
so I didn't pay $100 for mine. Let's just be clear.
all right. Yeah, but it's really beautiful. It's snug. It is something that I just love carrying my Switch around in. However,
Mhm.
so
Part of
when
the
you
reason
say
I got
your action satchel is snug, it's just cold in your room, right?
you're really, really driving at this.
It retracts up into the body to conserve warmth.
So completely ignoring Phil's commentary, I will say I bought it in part because it looked terrific, and it is terrific, but also because I was hoping for something that looked less like a purse. So the older bag that I carried it in.
Let's see this again.
Yeah. So
Let's see this purse again.
Yeah. Give me a sec.
Yep. Oh, what did he do? Just toss it behind him?
Right here.
No.
Yeah.
Here was the original. Okay.
Okay.
Looks like a
And-
fanny pack. Uh-huh.
It looks like a fanny pack. And so now I know that most of you are listening and not watching, but I'm holding up my beautiful new City
Action
Slicker
satchel.
action satchel, right?
Now, when you
And-
call it,
This is from
Slicker,
the Waterfield Company. They have a fine website where you can get a nice case like this for the Switch. They also make 3DS cases that are very nice.
Yes. Made in San Francisco. Now, here's the thing, though,
Handmade.
and we're not paid to say it, a word of this. This is just true enthusiasm. But my
you have to
wife,
point that out.
well,
Yeah.
because I sound like I'm selling something. But let me
When
tell you,
don't
though, but here's the rub. So I showed it very proudly to my daughter.
Now,
She
when
thought
you
it was
say
great.
rub your action satchel,
Here's the
Okay.
rub on the action satchel.
So finishing
Wait,
my
hold on.
thought,
Hold on.
I showed it to my
Rub.
I showed it to my wife, and she said,
well, I hope
God.
you have.
"Yeah." She said, "Oh God, that looks more like a purse
It
than
does.
your other one."
It does.
So yes.
Yeah.
I thought. Well, I see you also got the leather look.
I did.
They have
I
different
changed.
colors. They had like red and a black, and those looked even more like a woman's clutch bag.
I thought so too. So I initially had ordered the black, and then I contacted them and said, "Hey, I'd like grizzly instead." So they accommodated that. But yeah. Oh, before
Grizzly for real men. You see.
yes, of course.
Yeah.
I will say one of the nicest things about it is the way in which it holds the 5 cartridges, which also have their own leather holders, each one of them.
Oh, yes.
So nice and snug, and
Or as
yeah.
you'll see in mine, there's nothing in there because I'm all digital. No,
There you go.
no cartridges.
I had to
There it
decide
is.
which ones to put in there because I have too many cartridges for it.
That's ridiculous.
Oh no,
From-
I'm doing it the right way.
From our live chat, Ethan, are you wearing a bowling shirt?
No, I'm wearing a shirt that we picked up when we were in Hawaii. So it's a sleek Hawaiian shirt. You can't see all of it, but yeah, you could say it looks a lot like a bowling shirt, which is the style out in Hawaii, I guess.
Okay. Hacker alias
Yeah.
professional in Cali wanted to know.
Ethan makes his own style.
I do,
Yes.
yeah. And
His
I will
style
say
is that of a Hawaiian bowler
right with an action satchel.
that you carry with you
It
everywhere.
all comes together beautifully. Yes.
See, I put
Yeah.
my action satchel in my messenger bag. I don't actually carry it around.
Bags within
that.
bags.
Bags. Yep.
Yeah.
It works
Though
out
I'll
well.
say, and this is more for later in the show, but just a little teaser. Actually, today when I was out and about doing my activities, I kept the action satchel at home and brought my 3DS instead. And I think
What?
you guys-
Why?
What?
Yes. But that is for later in the show.
But there's
I
a
think I
Fire
know
Emblem
what-
game right there on your phone.
I think I know which game you speak of, but
Yeah.
we'll save that for later. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
indeed. Well,
Okay.
we got some news this week.
Well, that's our show for this week. Thanks for tuning in.
You know, last week we were talking about Project Rappa-rap.
Yeah.
The Innis and Nana Unshaw rhythm action game that they put out a little teaser for, a teaser image. Well, of course, on Monday after we recorded, they went ahead and they launched their Kickstarter campaign
Yeah.
for Project Rappa-rap, looking for $1.1 million.
Oh.
And yeah.
Yeah.
And they also
You gotta
had
believe. You gotta believe.
they had some other issues with it as
Fails
well,
at all things.
such as they revealed all of their stretch goals, and the Switch version was originally at the $4.5 million mark,
Yeah.
which seemed a little odd, you might say. They have since gone back and revised their stretch goals and made the Switch version like $1.5 million unlock. And they've hidden the rest of their stretch goals.
Just for the sake of having it on record, the stretch goal is $1.1 million. They have, as we are recording right
campaign
now.
goal. The campaign goal is 1.1. Yeah.
What did I say?
You said the stretch goal.
I lied.
Yeah.
I meant the campaign goal is $1.1 million. 28 days to go as we are recording right this very second.
Yes.
They are at 146,000.
I don't think they're going to make it.
I do not believe this Kickstarter will succeed.
Probably not.
No.
Yeah. I did back it, however,
Did you?
because I would like to see this collaboration happen.
Is
I
there any
think-
chance I could talk you into upping your pledge by $1 million?
No, no, I don't think so. But
Okay.
the game itself feels kind of weak. I mean, they didn't show off any gameplay. They described the gameplay.
Yeah.
They didn't show off any of the music in the game or anything like that. And it's only 6 stages, which is similar to the original Parappa the Rapper, but 6 stages. I mean, you could get through that in what? Like an hour.
Yeah.
So
Which again
And-
is like Parappa.
they were expecting one of the lowest tiers that would get you a copy of the game initially was the £30 or $39 tier. They have since lowered that so that you get a copy of the game like $25, something like that. But it does not appear to have helped things
No.
so much with this campaign.
No. Well, in a Kickstarter campaign, the first impression is everything. If you don't come out of the gate swinging, you're not going to make your goal. I mean, the first day and the second day is even usually in terms of generating money. That's your big money day. Is day 2.
Yeah.
So if we're sitting here at how long has this campaign been going? Almost a week now.
Yeah.
And you're at 146,000 of 1.1 million. There's no way.
No.
So I think part of the challenge might be that there's still a lot of really good music games out there. And so it might be that people are certainly fans of Parappa, or a smaller group might be fans of Gitaru, but they are fans of those characters in those music games. So if, say, this was a Kickstarter for Parappa the Rapper 3, that would probably make it. I think that something that's an original IP, even given the pedigree of these people, I just don't think it's quite the same thing as Igarashi doing something that is like a Castlevania. I just think that part of the appeal of something like Bloodstained is that you have very few of those games on the market right now, where with music games you just have so many of them. It's not as exciting to get a new one unless it's a brand that you care about.
How many story-based music games are on the market right now?
Not very many that aren't remakes or remasters.
I guess.
Well, that's just
I
it.
guess I'm talking more vaguely about things like Boaz or Hatsune Miku, or things that are still.
Are those popular? No.
Well, they're
You're
they're
right.
new though. I mean, they're
point. Yeah.
yeah.
I think you're right. If this was Guitar Man 2, let's fund that. I would be on that in a second. And
if this was Guitar Man 2, it still wouldn't make its goal.
It probably wouldn't make its goal.
Was $1.1 million. And I love Guitar Man.
Yeah.
I love Guitar Man.
At least we did get 3 Oendon games, if you count Oendon 1 and 2 and Elite Beat Agents
and
as
Elite
separate
Beat Agents,
games.
yeah. Exactly.
I'm
You
fine with
should.
that.
They're separate
I do.
games.
I do. And those were the second one was my last import game. In fact,
It might have been my last import game as well.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
I wonder how, even if they had been successful, they would fund it, because knowing how budgets tend to go with games like that, I would imagine it would probably cost them closer to $3 million to make
Actually, yeah. Here's the other thing. When I saw this campaign come up, I was like, 1.1 million for the for a game like this, like that seems low. That seems like a low goal.
Right.
I think what they probably thought, especially since they put the Switch version up at like 4 million, they probably thought they were going to blow away their initial goal.
Oh yeah,
and hit the stretch goals with no problems. And clearly that has not happened. And another thing I found strange about this one was that they announced that they were already working with a publisher. In their campaign, they say that P-Cube, which is a European distributor, they've done a bunch of different games. I think they distribute Steins Gate, actually. But
they do, yeah.
They are going to be publishing it. But the thing about that is, like, I have nothing against that. Like, a publisher being involved in Kickstarter, I think is okay. But I think they should have said the publisher is going to match the Kickstarter funds.
Yeah, something like
going to kick in money on their side too to make the end product better for everybody.
Yes.
I mean, on the business side, definitely, Innis and Nana Onshaw need a publisher if they want to do a physical version of the game. That's fine, but bring some value to backers as well, right?
Yeah. Though also to be clear though, when you talk about something like P-Cube, it's not like it's Capcom picking it up or something.
True.
I mean, these guys are very small, very boutique, and I'd be surprised if they could just out of pocket support a $3+ million project like that.
I would imagine they can't. And
Right.
that's probably why they didn't say that they would match the funds. But even if it was, we'll match up to a certain point, they didn't say that. Like, they didn't bring any value to it, which was definitely weird. But I guess they did say if this Kickstarter is not successful, the game isn't going to happen. So
well, It's not going to happen.
I guess prepare for it not to happen.
Yeah. It's a bummer, but
sad, but maybe we'll see something else from them.
Yeah.
Well, on Kickstarter, I'm almost always the guy sitting on the sidelines guy who would happily pick this up once it actually became available, but am very unlikely to fund something in advance.
Yeah, that's how I felt about Bloodstained. Because Bloodstained, while I thought they ran a really, really good campaign, I didn't want to buy in at like $40, which was like the lowest tier. So I just I'll pick it up when it's out, and that'll be that. So
yeah.
Yep. Well, and I felt vindicated for waiting when Mighty Number 9 came out. No offense, Phil.
I didn't work on the game.
No.
I just worked on the campaign.
I just worked on the campaign, which was incredibly successful. Thank you very much.
Yeah. No, it was a well done campaign.
Yeah.
It was persuasive, but I held off, and when the reviews hit, I ultimately did not make that purchase.
Yeah, there you go.
And I don't think anybody would fault you for that.
No.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about The Legend of Zelda, because the Wall Street Journal says that the Zelda franchise could be coming to mobile.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Ethan doesn't sound enthused.
No, actually, again, it really is a simple breakdown. If it's set up like Mario Run, I'll be very excited about it, and I'll jump in and play it. If it's set up like Fire Emblem, I'll skip it, and that's just the way it is for me.
Why do you hate
this
Zelda?
is gonna be a really interesting thing to just see where Nintendo goes from here, right? Because they have really done both types of game on mobile, right? They did Super Mario Run, which was the pay once and we give you the whole game, and then they did Fire Emblem Heroes, the download it and we'll charge you a whole bunch of microtransactions to do this gotcha system stuff. And I mean, on the one hand, Mario Run was got a lot of negative user reviews for its monetization scheme. And Fire Emblem Heroes, people seem to be okay with what that's doing, except for Ethan. But the stockholders, more importantly, in Nintendo's financials, they said that like Fire Emblem Heroes has made more money by a significant margin than Super Mario Run did.
But CJ, one thing.
So that's what's going to make their next move interesting. Which model they're going with here.
The thing you have to remember, though, is if they do decide to do what they did with Fire Emblem, they have to jam Zelda into one of three categories. It is either going to be a builder, a casino game, or a CCG, or, pardon me, a match 3. There are 4. I forgot there are actually 4 genres in mobile free-to-play that work. Can it be any one of those 4? Animal Crossing can. Animal Crossing could be a builder. I would hate to see it go that way, but I could totally see how that would make sense given the character of the game. Sure. Zelda, I don't think would work as one of those 4 genres, would it?
Build your own Kakariko Village.
Yeah, build your own Hyrule Village. Yeah, they could do that. I think that is not taking advantage of the Zelda franchise's biggest strengths, which are more combat focused. You could do a mobile MOBA. Could do a Vainglory style.
Could, but again, at that point, I think that they would probably not bother with that because there hasn't been a successful mobile MOBA anyway. In free to play. So it's just not one of the 4 categories that works. So if it doesn't fit into one of those 4, I just don't see it. And I don't see them jamming it into one of those 4 because, Mario Run wasn't jammed in there. Fire Emblem, did make sense as a CCG. I understand why they did that with, 10 years, or sorry, more than 20 years rather, worth of like these incredible characters. And even there, it mechanically felt like a Fire Emblem game, but I just don't see how they could do that with Zelda. So I bet you anything it's going to be like Mario Run, and that means I'll be very excited about it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't know what to think about it.
We will see.
We shall see. Sticking on the Nintendo tip, we got an ARMS Direct last week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that ARMS video game is like a month away at this point. So we got to see some new characters. We got some information about the online connectivity in it. And we also got word of a global test punch, which is coming up here the next 2 weekends.
Yes.
So you can try this game.
Downloaded that
for yourself.
Yes.
Did you download
I downloaded the test punch. Yes.
I did as well. And I listened to the music when you load it up.
Oh, cool.
Because the main theme is quite catchy.
I haven't tried that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is getting really good early buzz.
It is.
Ed, again, is really enthusiastic about it. Editors who've had a chance to get more hands-on time like it. I'm still really, really curious to see if it feels good to play when you are walking around with the machine as a handheld, because it seems pretty clearly made principally to use the motion control mechanics on the Joy-Cons. And I hope it works well both ways, because, frankly, I will probably be spending a lot of the time playing it as a handheld system.
Well, but, Ethan, let me maybe propose an addition to your man satchel here. What about like a typing of the dead sort of thing that like has a little arm, so to speak, that like goes over your head to hold the screen, and you can hold the Joy-Cons hands free and still use the motion control. I mean, you'll look a little bit like Ripley from Aliens in the power armor.
But that's cool. That's really cool.
I mean, especially if you have the yellow Joy-Cons, you'll look even more.
Yeah.
But yeah, do that.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, no, I'm wondering how it plays in regular handheld mode as well. I guess the Edge preview had kind of some thoughts on that. It didn't quite sound like you'll have all the controllability in handheld mode. The people who have played it seem to prefer the motion control.
Yeah,
by and large.
Yeah. Again, we're really well situated for that because we have 2 docks and 2 switches. So it probably would be great fun for me to play upstairs and my daughter Winnie to play downstairs, and both have a giant screen to ourselves. Yeah.
Indeed. So we got 3 new characters: Twintel, Bark, and Bite.
Yep.
And what was the other one?
Oh, I don't remember. I will say I'm a little surprised that this is coming out before they launch their online their online app for communication. Yeah. Because this certainly would be a nice game to be able to talk to other people about, since it seems like it really is pretty specifically focused on the multiplayer.
Kid Cobra is the other one. Yeah, I wonder when we're going to see the next bit of news on that online application. Maybe E3?
E3, I'd say it probably launches with Splatoon 2.
Yeah, I'd say that's did you listen to NVC this week?
No.
They were talking about that. Yeah, they were talking about Mario Kart and ARMS are kind of solo experiences, but in Splatoon 2, you're in a team and you need to strategize, so it makes sense to have that online app.
Yes,
ready for
that
that,
does make sense.
Which I agree with. I think that'd be great. I want to see how the thing works, if it's actually good or not.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be Discord, but a little bit easier for Switch. And that's important because I want to have some way to be able to talk to people I'm playing and make it easier for me to actually find them.
Indeed. Let's talk about Splatoon 2, because on the end of this ARMS Direct, they had a trailer for the single player mode of Splatoon 2.
Yep.
And I think I'm the only one on the show that actually played all the way through the story mode in the original, maybe.
Yeah, I didn't get through the whole thing.
I didn't either.
And I loved it. And this looks like it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, from the amount of single player that I played in Splatoon 1, I had a lot of fun with. So I'm definitely excited about this.
Yeah. And the fine people at Game Explain, I think this was an analysis from Derek Bittner. He did a 35-minute video on the 2.5-minute Splatoon trailer, pointing out different things that are revealed inside of it. I'll link to that in the show notes, but they always do a great job. analyzing the trailers and such. So I haven't watched this one yet, but I've heard it's really good. I need some time. A 35-minute thing. I need some time to really digest that whole thing.
You need 35
I need
minutes.
35 minutes, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's how it is.
I haven't had that yet.
I understand.
But all right, moving on from Nintendo. Destiny 2. We got a gameplay reveal last week. I don't think anybody on this show particularly cares about Destiny.
Nope.
I played a little bit of the first game at the initial launch and then never went back to it. So it looks fine. It looks fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. But what I did want to talk about is, like Splatoon 2, Destiny 2 seems to have a lot of people saying, well, this is just the same game. Like it looks like an expansion pack on the first game. And I'm
what
wondering,
are they expecting, really?
I know. What are you expecting when it's like same platform and it's not exactly like the visuals can get better? Really?
Right, and same universe too. So you look at something like Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed, and the way they keep those fresh and feeling like totally distinct entries is they totally change the characters and universe which you are exploring. So the Infinite Warfare feels completely different than World War II, for instance. This, if you want to continue in the same world, it's going to feel very similar. Just like, The Last Jedi is going to feel pretty similar, one would imagine, to Force Awakens. It's a same universe. It is a continuation. I think that that's totally acceptable. That series isn't for me, but Splatoon 2 is definitely, and I have no problem with it looking very similar to the last game, because obviously the story mode is going to be completely different, and they have the new Horde mode and all that. They are different games, both Destiny 2 and Splatoon 2, based on everything we've seen. So
yeah. And of course, nobody should trust anything we say about Destiny because really, we're not Destiny players here.
That's right.
So
yes,
true.
Yes, indeed. Microsoft went ahead and released a free version of Phantom Dust on the Xbox One and on Windows 10 last week.
I would be so much more interested rather in reading how this came together, because I know that multiple studios looked at it and spent some time on it, than I would actually playing the game.
Well, apparently, there was like a fully redone like sequel or remaster that got canned like a year ago, right?
Yeah.
And then this comes out, and it's a free download. You don't need games with gold to download it, and there's no microtransactions or anything in it. And I just find it a very strange move. Like, what are they trying to do with this? Like, what is
especially
the goal here?
Especially given that I know that there is an audience that really did love the original game when it came out, but that must be a very small audience. Probably smaller than the audience that's clamoring for Voodoo Vince 2 or Vex 2.
Well, the remastered version, right, which came out last month.
Yeah. So,
yeah. I don't know. I don't know who this is for or what sort of business they're trying to drum up. Like, is this a testing ground to see if people would buy a Phantom Dust 2? Like, if they should restart development on the other thing they had going?
If they ended up using you can't tell. And I think that if they use the assets or materials that was built from the prior studio, this is why I want to know. I would imagine someone at Microsoft just saw it as a sunk cost thing. We've gotten this far. If we can polish it off, at least we haven't wasted all the money that we did last time then
why give it away for free? Like, why do it for free? That's the weird
just
part.
So that
why not charge like $5 or $10 to try to get, or why not do it as a free games with gold thing and make it part of that lineup? They didn't do that either. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's the business.
Just trying to keep you on your toes. That's all.
I guess so. Or dump it out before E3.
Yeah.
Who knows? But speaking of things getting dumped out or not getting dumped out, So we have a date for South Park: The Fractured But Whole now.
Yes, we do.
Which, Ethan, you want to say that title again? You want to?
I think this one I can do. South Park: The Fractured.
I don't think
South
so.
Park: The Fractured Butthole. It took me a try, but I could do it. I would really like to have Phil prank call some GameStops just to make sure he could get some folks on the phone to have to say that repeatedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys all got that fractured butthole.
Y'all got that butthole game?
Yeah. I'm looking for games with buttholes. Y'all got some? Got that South Park butthole?
Yeah. Actually, I would much prefer to listen to a Ubisoft earnings meeting just to hear them have to, in that format, say, so South Park Fractured Butthole, we're really confident about the sales. I want to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. I really thought the first one was something really incredible. Just it felt like this terrific extension of the show, and it's probably the funniest game I've ever played.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I pre-ordered The Fractured But Whole back last year and got the Stick of Truth for the PS4 for free. And then
nice.
The Fractured But Whole kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed. And I got to keep the Stick of Truth, but they refunded my money for Fractured But Whole. And I'm just going to say Fractured But Whole a whole bunch of times. And yeah,
you can say butthole. It's okay.
So I'm gonna make an E3 prediction that this is something they're going to announce will be on the Switch this year.
You think so?
I do.
I kind of hope so. That's why I haven't pre-ordered it for PS4, because I'm secretly hoping that they will announce the Switch version.
Yeah, the last one I was able to run on max settings on my Surface Pro 3. It actually was, something that scales down really well, obviously, given its visual look. But sure. It should be. I'm not saying it's a snap, but if it was built in Unreal or Unity, it should not be impossible. And I would imagine that it's one of the many titles that is actually viable. You might not get Titanfall 2, but South Park makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. And it seems like that would be something that they could do fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Instead of Assassin's Creed, which I highly doubt we would see that on the Switch. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe. But South Park seems like a no-brainer.
Yes.
Even more so than Steep. And I know they announced Steep was coming to the Switch. Do we really think that's going to happen? Or will that get canned in favor of South Park? Who knows? But anyway, I think we should talk about what we have been playing.
Sure.
And we should kick it off with Ethan, because you were not here last week.
Yeah, so I'll start just with the game that I was playing last week. That was Minecraft, and I really like playing that on the Switch, but I find myself yet again in a situation where I really, really enjoy it as I am building shelter to keep from dying. And then once I've built that shelter, I'm not saying that there isn't a terrific experience that remains, but I just don't really know what to do next, or I struggle to figure out what to do next that would be fun. So this time, at least I ended up, instead of just building into a cave structure, I actually built a house, and that was kind of fun. But once the house was done, I'm like, maybe I could have a basement that digs deep into the mine so I could do some crafting. Maybe I should do some adventuring, but none of it seemed as dangerous as, trying to create shelter when there was a threat, or as interesting as building your first house. So I'm certain I'm going to go back to it, but this is exactly the place where I fell off on PS4 as well. And it's me, it's not the game. I think that's the challenge for me of having something that's so unstructured, especially when I'm so easily distracted by other titles coming out just a week later.
I'm right there.
Does anyone else have this? Yeah.
I'm right there with you, where I have played Minecraft on multiple systems now, including the 360 and the PS4. And after I build a shelter, I'm like, all right, what do I do now?
Well, and the other thing is, and again, I admit that this is probably a lack of cleverness on my part, but this time around, I built a 4-story house, and that was kind of neat, except for the fact that 2 of the floors have nothing in them. And I don't know what really to build in them that would be interesting.
You know what I kind of want? I want Dragon Quest Builders on the Switch.
Oh, yeah. I would
totally
like that
get into that.
And I still think that while I understand there are people who like Minecraft a lot more, and it's definitely a more robust platform for creativity, I think I do prefer Dragon Quest Builders. I think that would be something I'd love too. So,
like, Phil, you like Minecraft. What do you do in Minecraft?
It's weird that you guys have no imagination or no sense of adventure to just go off and pick a direction and explore and see what you find, or pick a spot and dig and see what caverns
there. But what's there?
Right. That's the thing.
What are we missing out on?
Right.
Huh?
What are we missing?
Right.
Well, what are you looking for?
Anything.
Let me answer your question with a question. What are you looking at? Define anything. A bunch of enemies, a golden ring that says "Congratulations, you found me." What are you looking for?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm looking for something that's kind of a crafted set of experiences that ensures kind of a differentiation from moment to moment gameplay. I don't know. I want something that's a bit more structured, I think. And as I said,
what do you guys do when you play with Lego? Do you just put together the box? You get out the instructions and put together the set, and that's it? You're done with Legos?
Yep.
Congratulations, you're dull. You're the worst
I can accept that.
Good job.
I can accept that. Yeah.
That's why you don't like Minecraft.
Okay.
Because you don't have the imagination to go outside the instructions.
Yeah. And so I was playing that, and I was also playing NBA, whatever the hell the subtitle is. Playgrounds. I was going to say Showdown. I'm sure that was something else that came out at another time. It's fine. It's reasonably fun. I, just like you, CJ, could not get down the release, especially on layups, which I just thought was frustrating. The load times are insane on that game, and it's weird to me that it launched without online on the Switch. I guess I understand it's coming later, and I'm willing to continue to give the game a try. That being said, when all forces were equal and I was playing against alongside 3 other people that also didn't really understand when to release and all of that, it turned into a reasonably fun game with some frustration.
Release.
Right,
That's
right, yes.
Key.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, in NBA Playgrounds, I'm not talking about anything else.
Right. I also found that I was able to exploit the 3-point shot too much, and when you're going up against the AI, you end up having to do it a lot. And so it feels right now like a game that is deeply imbalanced.
Well, I think they have a very short window for when you can release the ball and actually make it in. Like, it's not as forgiving as NBA Jam was back in the day, which makes it just a harder game to get into. It's like I just can't figure out what the timing should be here on stuff. I know that's how they have it set up. You have to, release the ball at a certain time, and it's telling me with the whole late and early thing when I miss. You're like, okay, yeah, I got that, but I just can't quite get it right.
Well, also, because it is so tiny, that window, I don't know if it's that each character is slightly different in terms of when they're supposed to release for, say, a 3-pointer. I'm not sure if it's just 3-pointers universally have to be let go at this window, no matter who you're playing as. I just don't know, and I know that I'm failing at shots that in NBA Jam I'd get no problem. And so that's not super fun to me. Yeah. I do actually...
In our chat here, Mies1K3 says the timing, no matter what, is the highest point of the jump. That's what I've been trying. It didn't work for me. But anyway.
Yeah. So I won't spend more time talking about that other than to say I like the feel of it. If you're playing with other noobs, it's pretty fun. If you're playing against the AI, it's not. And I hope to see patches that will make me happier and more excited about it. Yes. But moving on to what I've been playing this week, new games this week, and actually not Switch games, believe it or not. I picked up for the PSVR.
I want to hear about this.
Yeah, Farpoint. So it was interesting because my first evening playing it, the first session, I was really pretty disappointed by it. And that was because they had it set up in default where you didn't have any strafing. You had to move your head, and then it would follow in a straight line, wherever your head was pointed. So it didn't feel organic at all. It felt strange to have to kind of hold your gun up and focus on moving with just one stick and making sure that it was pointed at the screen so that the stick was straight up so that you would move in the right direction. And I wasn't so impressed with the visuals either. But then the next night, after having read some tips on Reddit, I went and turned on the strafing, and I put on the smooth look. And so now it feels more like playing a Call of Duty where you're completely immersed in it. Now I have control of both sticks. I can actually move the camera. It doesn't make me sick. The game that did make me sick was the Valkyrie Eve game, and this didn't give me the same problems that game gave me. It's pretty fun from a shooting standpoint. There are some really, really cool set pieces. There's a sequence with I won't spoil the details, but there's a giant boss that is feels like he's like 4 stories high, and you're taking him on, and it feels pretty empowering when you figure out how to defeat him. But the problem with it is it just feels low budget. It feels like, you're going through the same environments over and over again. It's all just a barren kind of Mars landscape with bugs, and maybe it gets better or different as I move along. But so far, I've played for about 3 hours, and it just feels extremely repetitive. It feels like they have created these environments as a cost-saving measure. Of course, you're also always going forward because just it's harder in VR to focus on things happening behind you. So it's structured in a way that it's just kind of like a not very good first-person shooter that's made significantly better by the novelty of being fully immersed. So the gun feels good, but the funny thing is when they make the control intuitive from the standpoint of an experienced gamer enough to be roughly as responsive as Call of Duty, you just kind of say, I'd kind of rather just be sitting on the couch relaxing, playing a much higher fidelity, bigger production value FPS rather than standing and being in this kind of low budget experience that has pretty good aiming. That's my experience, at least. I'm not blown away by it. I know some people really love it, but it's not something that I would say is a must play. I don't think it's as good or as important as something like Rick and Morty, or even Raw Data. Those games, I think, are better representations. I think on PlayStation VR, Resident Evil 7 is a much, much better representation because that really is a AAA budget game that does play well in VR. It's okay if you have a PSVR. You will probably enjoy the shooting mechanics. You probably won't feel like it was a bad purchase, but I don't know that you'll just be awestruck unless you are walking in so hungry to experience something that justifies the $500 headset that you're just gonna convince yourself that this is the one. But it wasn't for me.
Now, does the gun peripheral have any kind of feedback? Does it like rumble or anything like that?
Yeah. Oh, it's great. I mean,
Okay.
the gun is beautiful. It has all the buttons on it that you need. It looks terrific when you're in the game. You put it behind your back and pull it out again, and you go from shotgun to rifle, which feels really good. It has the haptic feedback, which is really powerful. It's a very, very solid device, and I'm kind of shocked that you get the whole package for $80, which is just $20 more than a regular AAA game, because the controller really feels substantial. It is also going to be supported by other titles. I know Arizona Sunshine, for instance, is already announced to be supporting it. So maybe that's the reason to get it. I wish the game it was attached to was a more exciting, bigger budget thing. I think, for instance, if you had some type of since it's Sony, let's say a really lavish, polished Killzone experience that was really a large budget thing that was a loss leader just to show how awesome a truly ground up VR experience could have been.
You know what though? I think Farpoint probably is a big budget production in the grand scheme of things for PSVR. Like, I bet you.
Yeah,
I mean, Resident Evil 7 isn't a VR only game, but I would guess that if you're talking PSVR exclusive experiences, this probably is very high budget for them.
Yeah, I mean, in
what they may have done with the because this was at E3 last year, and it was really interesting, looked really interesting. And I wonder if it happened where like they had started on this game and they got the controller and they're like, well, we don't really have enough game. How can we stretch this out enough so that we can charge $60 or $80 for this experience? Let's use some of the environments we already have and just create more of that instead of going back and doing completely new ones.
Could well be, yeah.
It's kind of a shame, as Farpoint was, like, to me anyway, one of the like big exclusive titles. It's disappointing that your impressions of it aren't completely glowing, because PSVR, honestly, it needs something that is glowing right now, right?
Oh, for sure. Well, it has it. I mean, Resident Evil 7 is great. Resident Evil 7
but
feels
it needs
like
something new. And Resident Evil 7 is not a PSVR only title, so
yes, that's true. That's true.
And did you play Starblood Arena at all?
I did not. No.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know many people who did. That was another one that was supposed to be a big PSVR release that, just doesn't seem to be hitting.
And again, this is the problem, is that I played a bunch of PSVR when the machine came out, but when I was setting up for Farpoint, I had to find my camera, which had fallen behind my TV. I had to remind myself that because I didn't like the cord sticking out of the front of the PS4, I had disconnected that because it wasn't working initially. So it had just been such a long time since I had even touched the PSVR. And it's just, even having this new game, the game is only supposedly about, 4 to 5 hours. I maybe have another 2 hours at most to play, but I just have not felt compelled to play it every night. I just, I think I will eventually finish it, but only because I know it's short. And if this was a game that was like 20 hours long, like Resident Evil, I don't think I'd ever finish it. It's just not good enough. Yeah. So anyway, that's my feeling on that. The game that did pull me in, though, that I almost didn't purchase was Fire Emblem Echoes. And the only reason I almost didn't purchase it is because Disgaea 5 is coming out next week, and that's on Switch, which I am using all the time. So they're both strategy RPGs, and I didn't want to double up.
Yep.
But boy, is Fire Emblem Echoes a polished and fun and well-written and novel experience. And, it's something that feels familiar enough if you love Fire Emblem, but it really does do a number of things that are new. You're searching environments from a first-person perspective.
It's like a dungeon crawler, though, right?
Yeah. And third person, you get dungeon crawling sequences. It's those are special areas. That's not like it's principally that. So, it's you'll go into dungeons. You get a couple of dungeons on every map. And once you finish a map, you move from Alm, to Celia, the two different lead characters. And it's a much more compact, tighter experience. I wouldn't say certainly that it's better than Fire Emblem Fates, but it's different in a great way when you have spent hundreds of hours playing Fire Emblem Fates. So the issue I'm at right now with Fire Emblem Fates is just that, going back every time to your town and building up the town and talking to people, it becomes a bit rote after a while. And so it's nice to have something that just is unfamiliar. And the dungeon crawling stuff, it's not fantastic, but it looks nice, and it's a nice change of pace, and you get to smash lots of crates trying to find things, and it feels like something that is different enough to get me into that whole Fire Emblem groove again. Though this time I am playing on normal instead of hard. I'm still doing classic so that my characters can die. I still have permadeath on, but I'm doing normal instead of hard just because as much as I'm enjoying the experience, I kind of want to have it and then be done with it and kind of say goodbye to the 3DS instead of spend hundreds of hours in it. So I almost certainly won't bother with the extra DLC. I just want to get through the 40 hours or so it's supposed to be if you're playing on normal, have a good time, because I am having a great time, and then move on. But it's really well done. All voice acted, the entire thing, even NPCs that are not important to the stories have their own voices. So the production values are just through the roof. They have lots of anime sequences, and the graphics are at a high level of polish. It's clearly one of those kind of end of the system, grade A products that you get from Nintendo.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I would recommend it. Do you guys think that you'd have any interest in playing this, or are you just kind of Fire Emblemed out or not interested in 3DS right now?
Well, I liked Fates, but
not even a little bit.
Yeah, I'm, I just can't really go back to the 3DS all that much. I do love the 3DS, and I may end up buying a 2DS XL, of course, but that would be, I don't imagine I'll be carrying around a 3DS often, whereas I do want to carry around the Switch. I do want to play more games on Switch, so yeah.
My lack of interest is not due to the system. It's just due to the fact that Fire Emblem is interesting to me for an hour, and then I've played what I need to play of it.
Right.
Yeah, for me, I think it is to me what maybe Picross is to you, Phil. It's just one of those things where once I get started, it's very hard to stop because it just it's catnip. It's just for whatever reason, I just really get deep into it and love to do it, and the time just disappears. So the game came out on Friday. It's Sunday now as we're recording, and I've put 6 hours into it, and I've had a really busy weekend. So it just does that to me. So
now. I have a question for you about this. When you play the game, you said you have permadeath on.
Yeah.
When you lose a character, do you quit the mission and restart?
Yes. Though,
what's the point of having permadeath on?
Well, because that's a penalty. I mean, that's the whole thing is you realize that you have to play through the entire stage again. And so the stakes are still very high that, you're trying to get through without losing a character. But if you do lose the character, the penalty is you either have to accept the loss or try all over again. And that's very different than just ensuring you have at least one character alive by the end of the fight. It's a totally different
this is why I don't play with permadeath on.
Yeah, I was going to say, and that's somehow fun.
I do enjoy playing the game, but I don't want to have to replay the same stage over and over again to keep a character.
Now, there's a mechanic that I haven't yet had a chance to experience. You are collecting these cogs that, as I understand it, allows you to turn back time. So there seems to be a rewind function of some sort that probably is meant to help facilitate that. So I'll let you know next week once I actually get a chance to explore that. But yeah, I mean, again, for me, it's about stakes, and it is fun because for me, it's like, okay, now I have to remember why it was that this character lost, and maybe I have to ensure that they have a piece of bread so that when they're stuck in a position, they can get some health, or maybe I don't push them so far into the battlefield, but I feel like I'm slowly learning, and that to me is very rewarding. So when I finally get through that stage that I've had to restart 2 or 3 times, it feels like a pretty big victory. Certainly bigger than if I just knew that there were no stakes to my characters being killed, provided I cleared the stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then last thing to mention is I have been playing right alongside it the Disgaea 5 demo, which I'm a little more than 2 hours into. So there's quite a bit of content there. I like Disgaea. My only thing with it is the presentation feels pretty dated. I mean, it doesn't look any better in my estimation than, say, the Vita Disgaea 4, which is fine. I mean, it's serviceable, it's funny, it's a good script, it's definitely pretty elaborate and in-depth strategy RPG, but I don't like it as much as Fire Emblem. I still think I'll pick it up along with Street Fighter 2 next week, but I don't know how much play I'll put into it until after Fire Emblem's done.
All right.
Okay.
Well then, Phil.
Yeah.
What do you got for us?
You know what? Just because I know everyone loves talking about iOS games, I've been playing a new iOS game.
Well, this one's a paid game, though.
It is a paid game.
Premium game.
It's a premium game. It's I believe $3.99, $4 if you're rounding to the nearest dollar. It's from the good folks at Square Enix, a meld/rebirth of two classic Taito games. I speak, of course, of Arkanoid versus Space Invaders.
All right.
Yes.
Two classic flavors that, I don't know how they go together.
Surprisingly well.
Yeah?
Turns out.
Okay.
It is... Well, Space Invaders, everyone knows Space Invaders. You're moving your little tank at the bottom of the screen, shooting at rows of rapidly descending aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And Arkanoid, of course, is the Brock Blaking.
I thought you were going to say Barack Obama.
Brick Breaker?
Block breaking game where you control the little paddle down at the bottom of the screen and bounce a ball up and destroy blocks. Only this time, instead of you control the stick down at the paddle down at the bottom of the screen. But instead of shooting at blocks, you are still shooting at blocks, but you're also shooting at Space Invaders who fire their little bullets down at you, and your goal is to reflect the Space Invaders shots back up to them. And they act just like the Arkanoid balls, where if you hit the laser at an angle, it'll bounce back up at an angle and bounce off walls and things like that. And you have to destroy the Space Invaders.
Is that mobile only, or is it on other platforms as well?
As far as I know, it's only mobile.
Okay, It sounds fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly fun, and it's not like Space Invaders where they always stay in the same formation. There's plenty of different layouts. The aliens move around in different patterns, and you.
Well, that type.
Oh, go ahead.
That type of game, short of like an Arkanoid controller, sometimes those actually do work better on a touchscreen than they do with.
That's
stick.
true.
Yeah, works really well on the touchscreen. There's tons of different characters. You have support characters that will give you different benefits during gameplay. Make your paddle longer, or make the reflected shots move faster, or make them more powerful, and things like that. And as you progress through the game, you unlock more support characters, and all the support characters are characters from old Taito games. So there's a lot of, if you are into the kind of classic arcade scene, you will recognize a lot of fairly obscure characters. Certainly they have like the little dinosaur guys from Bubble Bobble.
Yep.
And that sort of thing. But then you get...
what about Legend of Cage?
Legend
of Cage in there?
I believe it's Kage.
But that's not what we said back in the day.
I don't know. I'm sure probably is. I believe Time Gal may be in it as well. I seem to remember hearing the Time Gal's in there somewhere.
Huh.
But it's for $4. It's a pretty fun little game to play while you're pooping.
All right. Sounds good. I might actually pick that up.
You should.
TMI.
There's no mechanics that you would find distasteful, Ethan.
Very good.
It's all there in the game.
Until a year from now they flip it to free and add a gotcha mechanic.
Actually, from what I understand, I heard that this originally was going to be free.
Oh, really?
Originally, with gotcha type mechanics or DLC, but they scrapped it and went with a premium model. So there you go.
Well, cool. Yeah.
There you go, Ethan. You happy? You happy now?
Sure. I would sooner play that than Injustice 2. How's that?
The console Injustice 2?
Yes.
Does that have gotcha mechanics in it?
It sure does.
Oh, does it really?
It had microtransactions and a bunch of.
What are the microtransactions for?
New characters.
You can
Oh,
buy
really?
virtual currency to do the pay per poll gotcha stuff, though.
Oh, well, that's weird. Can you earn those? You can earn those characters without doing the gotcha stuff, though, right?
Yes,
Presumably,
I think
yeah.
Seabake mentioned that.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, there you go.
All
There
right,
you go.
is that all you got?
What do you got, CJ?
Well, I've been playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe still.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't make it on Friday. I meant to, but you're
that's
starting
okay.
so early. But
Yeah, well, Eastern time, and then
Yep.
I go to bed early usually. But yeah, we played with a bunch of listeners on Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. If you check our Twitter account, I'll tweet out the code. It doesn't change week to week, so you can just enter it whenever you want, and then join us on Friday at 9 Eastern. This week, I imagine we'll do some more racing. We did some racing last week as well, and just had a lot of fun with a room of listeners playing Mario Kart 8.
Cool.
Yeah, the game's fun for sure. I finally got 3 stars in all of the tracks on 150cc. So
nice.
What does that get you?
nothing. Gets you a whole lot of nothing. But
Well, then there you go.
the satisfaction that I finished all of those courses in first.
That's an accomplishment. That's an accomplishment.
I had not done that on the Wii U version of the game.
I've put now more than I think 25 hours into that game, which has to be at least 10 hours more than I put into the same game on Wii U. But I still haven't bothered with the battle mode outside of one try. I'm sure I'll get deeper into them later, but it's not that the battle mode's not good or interesting. It's that I really love the racing stuff. And so once I start in, I just kind of want to race.
I am right there with you. I played battle mode. It's fine. It's just not really the kind of thing that I like out of Mario Kart. And it has never been that way. Like, I've played battle mode back in the N64 days and whatnot, but
yeah,
I know a lot of people would disagree about battle mode, but I'm not one of those people. But I played more. We had a power day where we did hours, and the Switch is nice to have during that time.
Yes,
that's when all of Mario Kart 8.
Oh, I gotta say something that
That's when I got
the. You're breaking up a little bit there, CJ.
breaking up a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not even.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
I couldn't hear that at all.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. So while CJ gets that set up, I will just say, Phil, that I had a really interesting experience last Friday at work where we have kind of a last hour of the workday on Friday. We play some games, and they set up Metal Slug 3 on the big screen, and then on the tiny screen they set up NBA, and just use the Joy-Cons, and it kind of really was the big feature of the whole get together. It was exactly the type of thing that you see in the ads that you think will never actually happen in real life, but actually does. Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, your job is not real life.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
That's not a bunch of people who have like a real job. It's you work at a video game company, so
yes,
game industry is a real job. Come on,
that's not a real job.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So
you
yeah.
back there, CJ? Thumper, tell us about that, because I played that in PSVR and I love it there, but I don't know if I want to double dip.
Yeah, I had not picked it up for play. We had a copy of Thumper. Really enjoyed it. Not off until
I am CJ. I am a robot.
Catch the wave.
Body.
Greetings, humans. I am here to help you with your video games.
Wow.
This is what you sound like. Except you can only hear like every fifth word.
Can you hear me?
No. No, we can't. We absolutely cannot.
Fine.
What? What?
Hear that, did you?
I heard
What I heard-
fine ack.
Yeah.
Fine ack.
I'll
How are you,
be right
Ethan?
back. I'm doing well. So,
Good.
yeah. All right. So you said on your list also that you continued to play Minecraft.
Yeah, I'm playing Minecraft.
Okay. So
We
when you
already
were
talked about
playing,
Minecraft.
I know, but so what have you done explicitly after building your first setup? What was the creative solutions you came to continue the gameplay experience? What did you do?
I roamed around the outer world, exploring, looking see what interesting land structures I could find. I picked a few places to burrow down from inside my house and stumbled onto a few mines and
Okay, so that's good
explored
to know.
those. Explored those.
That was my organic kind of solution of what I might do next is to actually dig from within my house. So that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, looking for rare minerals and things like that, seeing if I could find any diamonds or gold or anything along those lines.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's interesting. Setting up some torches then as you go, right?
of course. Yeah, you want to, when you dig down, bring a whole mess of axes, bring a whole mess of torches.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
if
It looks
you-
like. Oh, go ahead.
Hmm? No, I was going to say, if you dig down from inside your home, you might want to set up a door to block it, just in case you stumble onto a nest of monsters down underground, and so they don't climb up into your house.
I have set up the door, so I do
Okay.
have that. So it looks like I am going on the path that would make sense. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. There
So
you go.
CJ, are you back?
Yes, I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Yes.
Now we can hear you. Yes.
Okay. I have no idea what happened there. But Thumper, yeah, I've been playing it on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
And what do you think?
Of course, I like it a lot. I mean, I liked it on the PS4. I never actually bought it there. I just played it at the office.
You just pirated it?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, okay.
But I like the portability of it. It has nice HD rumble feature.
I've heard the HD
Joy-Cons.
rumble is good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually really, really good. The only problem with it is that the audio is kind of at a low volume, even if you have headphones, which is kind of weird.
I've seen that on other Switch games before, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it defaults to a really low volume. You can increase the volume, but even then, it's like not really all that loud.
It's probably a child-proofing thing.
Yeah, maybe. But the visuals look great. It's 60 frames per second in both handheld and docked mode.
That's
It's
nice.
1080p when docked, and it looks great. I guess they redid the viewpoint a little bit so that it plays a little better in handheld mode.
And it's
But,
$20, right?
It is $20, yeah.
$20.
But I felt pretty good about it. It's a rhythm action game where you're this like scarab type thing, and you're going along on this track, and you have to press a button and do controller directional combinations to survive and defeat bosses and such. And it's really a lot of fun. So
yeah, I actually on PSVR I preferred it to Res. I did love that last new episode that they did in Res, but in terms of like the vanilla game versus Thumper, I thought Thumper was the more fun of the two rhythm games. And I would imagine that while the immersiveness of VR is certainly nice, it has to be something that plays really well even outside of that.
Yeah, I think so. And I think rhythm games in general, I mean, obviously on a TV you have TV lag, you have input lag. So
right.
But when you're in handheld mode on the Switch, you don't even have to worry about that because
that's true.
it's right there, which is super nice. So
that's cool. I got to say, I'm tempted to double dip on that. Would be nice, especially since I am, no stranger to just picking up things I purchased before on the Switch. I think I mentioned when we were chatting online that I'm at like 33 games or something like that on the Switch.
Yeah, that's a lot of games. That's a lot.
Sure is.
Yeah,
sure is.
I'm at 16 games now.
Okay, that's still a lot.
And that's
On
counting
Switch.
the global test fire on Splatoon and the ARMS global test bunch.
Okay, but you're not a dangerous spendthrift. That's the difference.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we move along to tweets?
Tweet,
Yeah.
tweet, tweet, tweet.
Let's do it. Let's do this one from Hacker Alias Jerkface Killer, who says, "What is your interest level in a new Mario Party for Switch, and when do you think we'll see a new one?"
I haven't been in a Mario Party for a long time.
Yeah, I think the last one I picked up was on GameCube, and it was like 6 or 7.
Mario Party tends to frustrate me more than entertain me.
I
Yeah.
picked up the latest one on the Wii U. I think it was 10, right?
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
That was my memory. Yeah, we picked it up because I have kids and because it had the amiibo functionality, which sounded kind of fun. We played it as a family once. That's it.
Once,
And
huh?
yeah, it wasn't that fun. No one ever asked to play it again, and it just didn't turn out to be the super kind of fun, exciting family experience that you're hoping for. So yeah, I mean, we ended up going back to the Wii U, Wii Sports a lot more than that.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I'm not all that interested in Mario Party as a series. Like,
No.
I last played it on the GameCube, and I really have not cared about it since.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
about my attitude towards it as well.
Yeah, I mean, it might be something at a later point that I purchase to see if my daughter's into it. That might be fun, but yeah.
But you know what's
now.
interesting is it's always been like B or even C tier first party Nintendo. You have something like Mario Kart where the expectations of quality are very high, and they almost without exception hit that high quality bar. Maybe not like the GBA version, but for the most part, they're uniformly excellent. It seems like with Mario Party, they don't try to hit a high quality bar. I mean, Nintendo internally must know that these are not very good games. They are the best company in the world when it comes to building great family experiences. So I'm a little surprised by that. I'm surprised that we haven't ever seen them just say, no, this has to be as good as Mario Kart.
I mean, they've done 10 of them, though, right?
Yeah.
And they continue to do Mario sports games, even though those aren't really very good anymore either.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. That's true.
yeah, I don't know. Not interested, though.
Yeah. Same here.
All right, listener Brad says, what would make a better experience, a Metroid-style Mario game or a Mario Maker-style Metroid game?
I think the problem with a Mario Maker is that that's a complex type of game experience that I can only imagine all but the very, very best homebrew designers would make something deeply frustrating.
I totally agree with that. I think, yeah, Mario Maker style Metroid game, while interesting on its face, you think of Metroid and it's like an interconnected world and the exploration. It's not just about defeating enemies or even the platforming in that game. So what would people really be able to craft a compelling experience? I don't think so.
I'd see a top-down Zelda maker before we see a Metroid maker.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. And then a Metroid-style Mario game.
Sure, why not?
I guess. I mean, if they're talking about, and I know we hate the term, but if it's like a Metroidvania type of thing.
Didn't Super Paper Mario kind of do something like that, where you had to retraverse areas?
I guess, yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. But that's still kind of leaning heavily on the RPG stuff. I don't know. I mean, it could be interesting, but I would rather just have straight up regular 2D Mario world, world or level based myself.
Yeah. All right. Hacker alias P.O. Rowe says, do you want Mario Odyssey to be more like Galaxy or Super Mario 64? I love both styles, but a new take on Super Mario 64 style would be nice.
Yeah, it was funny. My son asked me in the car today, what are your 3 favorite video games? And, I had answered with, Breath of the Wild, Fire Emblem Awakening, and the third one ended up being Mario Galaxy 2. I do think that is my favorite Mario game of all time, but much as I love that, we've done it a couple times now, and I would really like to see what they do with a more open world Mario 64 type of thing. Either one I'd be delighted by, but it would be interesting to see something slightly different from the last mainline Mario games we got.
Phil?
I would say maybe something more like Mario 64. Yeah, just because we've had Mario Galaxies type stuff lately. Let's have something that leans a little more 64.
Okay.
Looks like Stuart seems to agree in the live chat.
Was Stuart on our live chat?
He is.
Yes.
He's chatting.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Good enough to be on the live chat, not good enough to be on the show.
That's right. That's how he rolls. Yeah.
Good.
All right. Hacker alias Pinball RJ says, which ARMS characters will you get amiibo of?
Everyone that comes out.
They have not announced amiibo for ARMS yet.
That's true.
Just
Twintel.
Just Twintel.
They'd be awesome looking.
Just a little twin.
What are you doing there, Phil?
I just saying this. Baby's got back.
He's
wow.
He's doing this week's installment of Senran Kagura. So
oh my goodness.
There's a new character on the show, Twintel Guy.
Because I just gotta say, I just got the little wumpty dump and I can't even begin to describe it. It's just oh boy.
Yeah.
I think if
I would hope...
Twintel Guy and Snipper Clips Guy went out to fancy dinner together, it would sound a little something like this.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Why does it have to be a fancy restaurant? Would it be demonstrably different than going to Five Guys?
Well, yeah, because they would be expected to act a little more refined,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's hard to yell about snippy clippies and making creepy butt noises.
Well, and it says something about the station in both men's lives that they would choose a higher end restaurant.
Well, they're doing well for themselves. They certainly both have the funds to purchase new video game equipment. I mean, it's they have disposable income, certainly.
Yeah.
I would totally buy any ARMS amiibos that they want to release.
I would. I would hope that. I hope that they do the stretchy arms the way they have the Guardian. I wouldn't mind if they were all expensive like that too. That'd be fine.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, now those Zelda Breath of the Wild amiibos they fetch a nice price there on the eBays.
I'm sure they do. Yep. Oh, speaking of which, the Fire Emblem amiibos. When I went to pick up my copy, I asked for the amiibos. They said, out of luck, no GameStop has them. Checked Best Buy when I got back to my desk. It said that the closest one I could do in-store pickup was like 150 miles away or something like that.
Gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, and ended up getting lucky and selected in-store pickup for a Toys R Us that was only a little bit out of the way, and that ended up working out. But sounds like if you see those in stores, they are a reasonably low run based on what we've seen there.
Yeah, I saw those at Toys R Us this weekend, and I also saw a Nintendo Switch dock set for the first time.
Oh, wow.
How much was it? Because I've seen pictures of it for like 45, but I thought it was 90.
It is 90.
Okay.
Yeah. You can get from Nintendo Store. You can get a replacement dock, and that is like $50 or $60. But the dock set comes with a new AC adapter, which is a $29.99 separate purchase.
Yep.
And an HDMI cable as well. So
that's nice. Yeah,
the full package for $90.
And I'll say personally, just because we have the 2 switches in the house, and so we've had 2 docks, that has been super handy. So even if
awesome.
even if I only had 1 switch, I would definitely buy that because I have a TV upstairs, a TV downstairs, and it just gives me the best flexibility.
I totally agree.
Okay.
All right, Hacker Alias. Mr. Nelson asks, any favorite silly uses of a license that you've played? I played Popeye's Beach Volleyball on the Game Gear. Horrible, but hilarious.
Flintstones bowling.
That was like the worst on PS1. The Flintstones.
Hey, say that again, Ethan.
Flintstones bowling.
I think Ethan has his first character, Flintstones bowling guy, who is in an excited rush to work Flintstones bowling into any conversation.
Indeed.
So, guys, thinking of going out to dinner tonight. Where are you guys thinking? There, Flintstones bowling. Yeah. But, so I guess we have 1 vote for going to eat at Flintstones bowling. Anyone else?
So my son has been
Yeah.
my son's been trying out
someplace fancy.
my 6-year-old son has been trying out humor along these lines this weekend, where he said to me, because again he's playing some classic NES games. He's like, so Daddy, would you rather play Mario Odyssey or Back to the Future on NES? And of course, well, Mario Odyssey is like, okay, so what about ARMS or Back to the Future 2 and 3 on NES? Like, he's really working that, understanding that that's a terrible game.
But the thing is, you don't know. Mario Odyssey might be terrible.
As bad as.
What if Mario Odyssey ends up being worse than Back to the Future NES? You don't know that.
That's fairly good. That's possible, but
it's you're judging games before you've played them. Haven't you got on people's case about judging games without having played them?
Well, when it suits my argument, yes.
And here you are doing the exact same thing. You don't know.
I wouldn't. What's good for the goose isn't necessarily what's good for the gander.
Well, maybe you should goose the gander and see what happens.
Well then.
All right. Well, if Mario Odyssey turns out to be worse than Back to the Future from LGN on NES, I owe everyone an apology. How's that?
Okay.
There you go.
All right. We're gonna get that in writing.
Of a license.
You know what? On the keep it on the Flintstones. There was Flintstones in Burger Time in Bedrock. There was for Game Boy Color. There was a Burger Time game with the Flintstones in it. It was not a very good version of Burger Time.
What about MC Kids? Or even better, Mick and Mac Global Gladiators.
But both those games are actually pretty good.
They're good, but okay. But we're talking about use of a license. Is the McDonald's license something that's good in an eco-friendly Global Gladiators themed 16-bit action platform shooter?
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
Okay. All right.
What about Yaris? How do we feel about Yaris?
Yaris was a fine game. Alien tentacle cars. You know, the McDonald's license was good enough that Treasure made a game based on it.
I remember that, yeah.
What about, we're forgetting Sneak King.
Oh, I think Sneak King was great. No, I think all the other ones were terrible. Sneak King was actually pretty clever, and I thought it was kind of a fun game. I mean, it's not Splinter Cell, but, you know.
Yeah.
I still think Popeye Beach Volleyball might take the cake on this, though.
Yeah, it might. What about
I'm just glad.
Mega Man Soccer.
That's a pretty strange one. Yeah, I'm just glad that
does that count as a license though?
No, maybe no.
I'm just glad CJ hasn't said GoldenEye. So you know.
Oh, GoldenEye. There we go. That's the.
Yeah.
You're referring, of course, to the episode of Power Pros that I was on.
Yes.
This last week, and I revealed one of my controversial gaming opinions to be that I don't like GoldenEye on the N64.
GoldenEye was never good.
It was never good.
According to CJ,
I can't believe that. Yeah, and as I said, it's like just
I don't get what people saw in it. That's all.
DC has their, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, like the Holy Trinity, that the N64 Holy Trinity is Ocarina of Time, Mario 64, and GoldenEye.
No.
It is
No, you're wrong. Wrong.
Wrong. Stuart points out Chase the Chuck Wagon is
and Yonoid. He said Yonoid before that.
Yonoid.
Yeah.
Which was not a Noid game in Japan. That was a reworked Japanese game about a ninja.
True.
Become a Noid game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
There you go.
Let's. I guess we could wrap up with this one here from Hacker Alias Carlitos Way 1999.
I love that name.
Says,
That's awesome.
Do any of you plan to buy a high-powered PC for gaming? PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds has me seriously thinking about buying one.
I just did that. I just bought
You did. Yeah.
high-end PC this past year for VR specifically, and I almost never use it. And it is something that I am a lot less interested in, despite its high cost, when compared to the Switch, which I think is a much more compelling device than my nearly $2,000 PC.
There we go.
Sorry, Nintendo wins.
For me, I'd be more interested in purchasing a PS4 Pro or Scorpio than getting a high-end PC. Just because I like the fact that I could buy a console, get everything that I need, and not have to worry about upgrading separate parts and dealing with any other PC type experience. But I do use a PC at work, of course, and I play PC games at work. And yeah, I think that's where I'll leave that.
My current PC is powerful enough to run an emulator so I can play Popeye Beach Volleyball, so I think I'm okay.
Yeah, so you're good.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I think for me anyway, we've gotten to the place with graphics and visuals and gaming that it just, like, a high-end PC just doesn't have enough return for me to want to do that.
Totally agree. As I said, I got mine. I'm not saying everyone's experience would be the same as mine, but I almost never use it.
I certainly can understand why people do it. I mean, geez, if you got the money to burn and you play games mostly on a monitor close up, PC gaming is clearly the way to go. But no, that's not what I do anymore. I don't do that.
Yep.
I'm too old for that. That's a young man's game. And I guess that's where we end it.
Yeah.
That it? All right. Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something that you heard, you can direct that to @P1 Podcast on the tweeters, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You'll find blog entries about Sega CD stuff from Mr. Greg Seward, who's not with us, but he's chatting it up in the chat on YouTube. He's probably hard at work on some of that Generation 16 stuff that I keep hearing all about. I saw he was doing some kind of photo shoot this weekend. In fact,
yeah,
he is pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I heard that the photo shoot he's wearing nothing but a bow tie and a smile.
As anyone would when photographing retro game machines. Yes,
and the bow tie's not where you think it is.
Well, it's around a neck, but yeah.
What do you mean?
Well,
explain it. As you would a child.
Oh, and you will find show notes on our episodes, including this one. Anything that we talked about, I'll include some relevant links in that. And we've got a link to information on Scoopfest 17.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to try to get Mr. Paul Mattingly on the show here pretty soon, maybe next week or something, a thing in the next 2 weeks, maybe. To talk about that. But if you attend Scoopfest 17, you'll be able to see a live version of P1P with us all in the same room. Crazy.
Cuddling each other.
Yeah. And that'll be on Saturday, September 23rd, 2017 in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. So
That's right.
Yeah, you'll definitely want to come see that because that's going to be a lot of fun. And on player1podcast.com, there is a message board where you can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners.
If you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by going to the iTunes Music Store. While you're at the iTunes Music Store, you can also invest $1.99
Cheap.
to pick up the Player One Podcast iPhone application. It gives you one-touch communication with us via the emails, the Twitters, the what have you. You also have all of our episodes ready to stream right to your listening device. And hey, Android cell phone telephone users, the Player One Podcast iPhone application is available for your listening device as well for that same $1.99.
Also cheap.
You can find that right over there at the Amazon Android Marketplace. We're also on Stitcher Radio. You can like us on Facebook. You can check us out live, and look at archives of our shows on the youtubes.com/P1 Podcast. And if you've liked what you've heard, and how could you can head over to patreon.com/P1 Podcast. Find the link to our Patreon. It keeps Ethan rolling in Switch docs. He needs a new Switch dock for every TV he's ever going to encounter in his life. For maximum switchitude.
That's fair.
And if you have a couple bucks left over, you can head over to generation-16.com where you'll find a Patreon link to help support Greg Stewart's fantabulous web series about North America's favorite second banana, the Sega Genesis.
Oh, geez, thanks, Phil. It was really nice of you to plug my show like that. I'm really working hard on the new episode. It's going to be really great.
Thanks, Greg. Glad to help.
No problem. Take off, you hoser. Hockey.
I didn't even get that you were doing the Rick Moranis thing until that. All right.
There's that screaming penguin baby.
You know that only 80% of Canadians sound like Rick Moranis, and Stewart's not one of them.
Still.
Yeah.
Wow, 80%?
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah. What's confusing is only 40% of them look like Rick Moranis. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
And yeah, CJ.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you. Ethan.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You couldn't be more welcome.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear you say that. We're going to cut it out together. Snippy clippy. Nip, nip, nip. I believe I'll have the escargot, please. Snippy, snippy.
Wow.
He would choose escargot. I see that.
I would. What white wines do you have on your menu tonight? Snippy, clippy, snippy. I guess we'll see everyone next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next week.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So long, everybody. Woohoo!
Woohoo!